Selene Galas here for Rebel News. Today I'm in Millerville, Alberta, here at Rampage Paintball to discuss what is going on with Bill C-21. It's going to affect the entire Airsoft community. It's going to affect people that are also into paintballs.
Write your local MPs, write your local government, and tell them how much Airsoft being in C-21 and being banned is not going to be good for any of us, and how much cool stuff they're going to take away from all of us if they do that. Make your voices heard. It could be one of us out here that talks to the right guy at the right time that might do something for us. You never know, guys.
I'm here to talk to folks about this to see what they have to say and how this is going to impact the community going forward.
It's a load of crap. Like, we're all out here for fun. Nobody's trying to hurt anybody. Sure, people get hurt, but, well, it's a game. Everybody gets hurt playing games, whether it's football, baseball.
I really enjoy the area, really enjoy all the people out here, really good group of people, and really fun sport, and I would hate to see it go away.
2 years ago, our government introduced a national ban on AR-15 and assault-style rifles, and over the course of the coming weeks and months, we're going to put into place the steps that are necessary to begin the process of launching a mandatory buyback program, which will get those assault-style rifles out of our communities once and for all, because they have no place in those communities.
Well, it's going to shut down a multi-million-dollar industry overnight, leave a bunch of business owners, having to find a new livelihood. And unfortunately, when you really think about the safety aspect of banning airsoft guns, I get the whole argument that it's hard for law enforcement to kind of distinguish the two, but at the end of the day, a minor safety improvement versus a multi-million-dollar industry kind of seems like a bit of a no-brainer to axe it.
I think people need to be careful about misinformation and disinformation in this. We've explicitly and specifically not targeted law-abiding firearms owners because those who currently own and operate handguns safely and store them safely are not at all targeted by this legislation. We're simply saying that we are freezing the market, and in the future it'll not be possible to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns in Canada.
It's really just the team building. This is probably one of the best user-friendly sports I've ever been in. I've always been a very active person as a kid, so switching from sports like hockey and soccer, yes, they're more popular. A lot of people know them a lot better, but this is the most inclusive community I think I've ever been in. You can come here by yourself and leave with friends. So it's definitely a great team building exercise. I mean, the people here are awesome. Everyone's supportive. Everyone helps each other out. And yeah, it'd be a shame to see this all get destroyed.
Absolutely. And in terms of like the safety and rules and stuff like that, have you always felt safe being in this community?
Very much so. Everyone respects it. Everyone abides by the rules. And if you get the odd person that doesn't, they get called out very quickly by the entire community. Yeah. So safety is definitely one thing we take as a priority here, purely because, yes, it is meant to have fun, but you can get hurt if you use the guns incorrectly or use our equipment incorrectly.
No, for sure, and just like anything else, right? Like anyone could just, be playing hockey and pick up their stick and decide to go and assault someone, or, I'm not well, maybe not soccer, that's not a good example, but you know what I mean?
It's a ball to the head,
It's very hypocritical. I think it's super hypocritical to just, ostracize this group specifically because they look dangerous. But all in all, they are plastic guns. They are toy guns.
Correct. And as one of the refs mentioned earlier in our preview, at the end of the day, we're all just big kids with now a budget. So essentially, you go from Nerf to now this.
And we have a culture where the difference is guns can be used for hunting or for sport shooting in Canada, and there are lots of gun owners, and they're mostly law-respecting and law-abiding. But you can't use a gun for self-protection in Canada. That's not a right that you have in the Constitution or anywhere else. If you try and buy a gun and say it's for self-protection, no, you don't get that. You get it for hunting. You can get it for sport shooting. You can take it to the range, no problem, as long as you go through our rigorous background checks. But there's a difference around the culture. And one of the things that we're seeing with the debate in the States is you get more and more of the American style, right to carry, self-defense arguments filtering up through the usual more right-wing communications channel.
I grew up in a military-based family. I did a bit of cadets myself and gone out hunting quite a lot with my dad, so that's kind of what got me into it. Bill C-21, I think, definitely needs to be revised. There's tons of gray area with that. I can definitely see the concern. But I feel like we don't have these kind of problems in Canada as they do in the States, so it might be a little bit of too rash of a decision to throw something out like that.
Yeah, do you think it's a bit of like a trickle-down effect that we're seeing, like Canadians being ostracized for some of the things that are happening in the States?
Oh, definitely, 100%. Yeah, it's. I feel because we're such close neighbors, right, that the whole stigma kind of carries over, especially say from like other countries looking in, right? They think Canadians and Americans are exactly the same, but quite different.
Or whether it's our most recent initiative on on freezing the market for firearms, which will start moving us in the right direction over the medium and long term. These are things that you all had voices in, and I'm really excited about not just hearing about the impacts of these things, but talking about how we continue to move forward. Because, yes, we see a debate around gun control, but there's not a debate around whether our communities need to be safer, whether we need to keep kids safe from violence, whether we need to see fewer gunshot victims in our ERs. There is no debate around that. There are lots of important conversations about how to best do that, but as we know, there is no one magic way of doing it.
So my child is invested. I'm not too familiar about it. I know what he's told me about it because he's following it, which is unusual as a 15-year-old boy. But I love Airsoft. I love Rampage. I love the Raiders. They have so many safety protocols. And you know what? It gets him out of the house. It's the one thing that gets him out of the house, off the computer games. He's running around 10 hours a day. We're here at least once, if not twice a month. It is absolutely fantastic. And for me, I don't see the risk in it. I have conversations with my kid about his guns and where they're stored and how they're appropriate, how they're not appropriate. And so it's a conversation you have to have as a parent. And I encourage him to do what he loves, and it's his money he's investing, and he's earning that money on his own. So it's teaching him the values. It's great. I think it's wonderful, especially out here. Like, the guys make it so safe. I trust them as a parent for sure.
And now, as we see gun violence continue to rise, it is our duty to keep taking action. Last summer, during the campaign, some politicians said they would make assault-style weapons legal again. Not only did we stand up to them, but we promised to go even further to protect our communities. We proposed to invest to help provinces and territories put restrictions on handguns within their jurisdictions. However, in our discussions with law enforcement, advocates, and experts, it became apparent that we needed a different solution. So we decided to take a new route, something that would tackle this issue at a national level. And so today, we're moving forward. We're introducing legislation to implement a national freeze on handgun ownership. What this means is that it will no longer be possible to buy, sell, transfer, or import handguns anywhere in Canada. In other words, we're capping the market for handguns.
I think it's kind of like anything. When you don't understand something, you kind of start to see a lot of what the general public has to say about it. And what I've kind of noticed is that throughout media, we're kind of portrayed as like there's a lot of negative things. And I understand that people, sometimes they make the wrong choices, but until you actually come out here and you see it for yourself, I think that's the best way to kind of judge to it, and just get more information. That's the biggest thing too, is learn for yourself and decide for yourself. That's the biggest thing I can say.
Paintball and Airsoft is all that Brian loves. He loves the community. He loves putting on shows and games. People really come together. I know that with this bill, there won't be any of that. We have made so many friends over the last 5 years here, people we don't just see on weekends. We have birthday parties, all kinds of celebrations, celebrate milestones in life. And without this place and this sport, we wouldn't have any of that. So I know that that's going to go away.
For sure. And talk a little bit about like the safety and efficacy of being here and how, no one's walking around in city limits, pretending to be actually a part of the airsoft community. No one would actually do that, knowing that, we keep it safe, we keep it professional, and we don't break the rules, right?
No, are you kidding me? I'm safety queen out here. They call me Team Mom. Nobody gets past me. I'm barrel bags on, magazines out. We got to protect each other. Yeah. And the only way to do that is if we come together and we pay respects to it. We understand that they can be used as weapons, and we choose to use them as toys because that's what they're designed for. They're not meant to hurt people. They're meant to have fun with.
Yeah. Let's look at the statistics on toy gun crime as opposed to actual gun crime, right?
Yeah, exactly. You still get charged the same, which we agree with, because it's not fair to charge someone with a toy. It looks like a real gun. So in order to keep it safe, we have all the extra precautions. We have the bags to cover the tips. We make sure that nothing's loaded because we don't want to hurt anybody. We want to play with our friends because when you shoot friends with toy guns, they shoot back, and that's the point of it.
There you go. There you have it, folks. So I got to talk to some people within the airsoft community about how they feel about Bill C-21 coming in and being able to influence the airsoft community as well as paintball and other guns that they will now be considered replica of weapons. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in. For Rebel News, I'm Selene Galas. Go to handsoffourguns.ca. Go stop Justin Trudeau from pushing more legislation that is going to take guns out of the hands of lawful Canadian gun owners. You'll also help save the airsoft community as well. So go to handsoffourguns.ca, sign that petition there.